Hi everybody, welcome back to Critical Mass. Welcome to our episode of Movies They Are Remaking. And this one I remember seeing, I don't know how old I was, but I remember seeing in theaters. I
remember enjoying it.
I watched it again.
Like this was what, 1986,
I think?
Yeah, so quite a while, in my 20s. And it's Johnny Five is alive, is the big saying back then. And it is Short Circuit, the original. There's been two more since then. But Short Circuit, the first talking robot that I can remember anyway, from my childhood. And we're going to tell you, should they remake this? Or should they leave this classic alone? And is it even a classic? Can you tell what's missing? Huh? It's a little game we're going to play. Leave a note in the comment right now if you know what's missing from our opening.
Mark's on cue.
And it's not intelligence, it's not good looks, it's not all that, although you could technically say that. So, Short Circuit. Go ahead, Paul. Tell us about Short Circuit.
A military contractor is developing robots to fight in war, and they have like 5 of them. And during one of those conventions where you show the military all your hardware, one of them gets zapped by this lightning thing, and it goes off on its own and develops its own
Sentience.
Yeah, it becomes a life form, and not just a dead robot, right? So, and then they're on their way to look for it. It hooks up with somebody who takes care of it, and at the end, you want to know, are they going to destroy this life form, or are they going to save it?
Right. Or is it a life form, or is it just a malfunction? Yeah. So what do we think?
It's old.
It is old.
When I watch this, you know, I always give older movies a bit of a break and that, but there are some clear things in here that I went, that's bad. That's very badly done.
Okay, well, just because it's old, we just watched Holiday Inn and White Christmas. Would you say those were badly done?
No. And you gave it, what,
No,
20 out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm saying, like, some of the things in here were... there's this whole the opening scene even caught, like, I noticed it right away. I don't think you did when I told you about it, and I don't know if you did, but the very opening scene when, you know, they're trying to fake you out that this is military moving in and the robots are coming up to do, and they attack.
The flowers.
And they attack, right? And they just, and then all of a sudden you see this guy and he rolls over and you see it's a mannequin. Well, the trouble is, when they're driving up with the tanks, I can see this guy looking like this. And then he ducks down, so it's just his helmet. So there is a person in that tank that they just blew up. But little things like that. Or when you first introduced to Steve Guttenberg, he's sitting there and he's got a robot hand. And the robot hand is playing music. But it's just doing this across the keyboard. It has nothing to do with the keys that would be pressed in that situation. Like things that don't... nowadays, it would hit the keys. You know what I mean? So things like that stood out more to me now than they did back then.
Right. Well, this movie had its 80s charm, right? So it's one of the movies that you think back on fondly as, oh, I remember really enjoying that movie. And if you watch it again today, you're going to see that I think it's a great concept for its time. And honestly, I don't know that they'd be able to redo this successfully and recapture that charm because actual technology has advanced so far.
But I think they can do it for the modern day. They would just update it. Like, you've had all different kinds of this storyline. You've had Chappie and Axel. Even Wally is somewhat to do with this storyline. So you could do it.
I guess. You know how maybe they could do it is if they base the story in the 80s. Just like they would have done with the Stranger Things and stuff like that, where it's actually 80s characters, and maybe they could pull it off that way. But if you're putting it in present time, that's not going to work.
Okay. Should they remake it? If they're going to remake it, should it be a comedy or a drama?
Not a drama. No, this is not the type of movie that you can make.
I think you would have to target it towards kids. This one was rated PG, and it was very kid-friendly. Like, it seemed like you would rate this as family. Or for general audiences.
Yeah. Except there were a couple instances of cursing.
Yeah, like for no reason at all, they put these curse words in there.
Right.
Now, I don't know what that was all about, but today, even with those curse words, this would be rated G, I'm pretty sure.
Possibly.
And I think that you would have to redo it as a kids movie because I don't think adult audiences would be interested.
Well, I think what they're going to do is they're going to target it for kids, but also as sort of a retro, nostalgic movie for the people that saw it in the 80s.
See, if they don't do it as a comedy and over top, some of the scenes in this like stood out to me again. Like when she first discovers Johnny Five, immediately she goes to Alien, the most robotic thing you've ever seen in your life, and talking like this. How are you?
And half the movie, she's like, "You're an alien."
Yeah, and then she's surprised. Oh, you're a robot.
Well, I guess. Welcome to my planet.
Yeah.
You know, I you couldn't do that nowadays because we're too knowledgeable about computers and technology and everything. You couldn't have that. Oh, that's an alien.
Right.
But you know, I did like there were some funny scenes. I liked when the creep boyfriend shows up and he's gonna turn him in for the reward money and everything. And they go out. He's fighting with her, and they go outside, and he looks, and his car's disassembled. Mm-hmm. I actually laughed out loud at that part. I thought that was pretty funny. And the soldiers are your typical '80s soldiers, evil bad guy, just gonna do it his way.
No, you'll know the bad guy because he's the
bad guy in everything.
he was in Police Academy.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about this movie is that you had Steve Guttenberg. And Steve Guttenberg was known for being the funny guy, right?
Yeah.
And he wasn't in this. He was the lovable guy. And all the comic relief was done by his...
over-the-top sidekick.
Indian side character.
Right. Now, do you think that'll be in the reboot?
Not that way.
No.
and it was really funny because I'm watching it with my wife, and she goes, the Indian guy, I know who that is. That's the lawyer on the blacklist. I said, hello, no.
He'd be 90.
I made so much fun of her. We looked it up. It's him.
No.
Yes.
No? Oh my god.
That's great.
So she's like the queen of doing this. Like,
Really, eh?
This is like, what, 40 years ago? And, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah. No, my wife is the same thing with faces.
The
Yeah.
lawyer on the blacklist?
Marvin Gerard on the blacklist. And she
Like the
picked it out.
computer guy?
Yes, the Indian guy. And his charm in the movie was that he would say all these North American expressions, but get them wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And that got old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real quick. Like, it's time you spread your wings, he would say in the heavy accent, and he doesn't talk like that normally. And instead of saying spread your wings, he would say spread your legs. Right? Like
Some of them were funny, but...
Yeah, but every time he talked,
Yeah.
it was that.
Yeah.
And you can't have that for the entire thing, but I guess back then it was just...
And they had Guttenberg, right? And it would have been nice if he had some comedy too.
Because he was good. He was a funny guy.
Well, he's like the 80s version of Paul Rudd,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're common everyday guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. And did you feel a romance between the two at any point? Really?
I actually thought at the end of the movie when I'm going to buy this farm and we're all going to go live out on 40 acres and he has his arm around her, I was like, that progressed quickly into a relationship all of a sudden.
It didn't seem like, they hint at it during the...
There was like
thing.
a little flirty attraction, kind of, does she like me? Does she not? Let's move into my farm together at the end.
Yeah.
So,
And the only reason she decides to move in with him is because he owns 40 acres and she has a lot of animals.
yeah.
That's literally the reason.
She's thinking business contract. He's thinking, nope.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somebody who had very limited time to write a movie said, okay, let me find all the cliche characters I can find and put them in there with some really bad dialogue. Boom, got a movie.
But you know what? It turned out to be a success for them because people did go see this movie.
And there was a
lot.
sequel.
The sequel was the first movie I ever walked out on after like 10 minutes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That has nothing to say about the first movie. My wife loved this movie. She gave this movie an 8 out of 10.
All right. I would give it maybe a 6.
To watch nowadays, yeah, 6. I go that way. It's cutesy. There's nothing wrong with it. You can put it on with your kids around, really.
Yeah, but there's going to be some cursing.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
limited. I mean, there is a lot of male masculinity in it, though. Like toxic male masculinity, and a lot of it's coming from Johnny Five.
Really?
He's pretty aggressive towards her, I find.
Really?
Yeah, in a lot of scenes. If you watch it with that like lens,
well, he does go in and his eyebrows go up and down when she's in the tub and things like that. Like it is suggestive.
Mine might.
But I mean, he's a robot.
Yeah.
How do we know he's
But
a
he's
male
alive.
robot?
He's alive.
He's alive.
But apparently he's a male robot.
He was
all of a
getting
sudden.
input.
Right.
Yeah, input.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you let your kids watch too much cable TV, because that's what happened right after that. Well, yeah, I'd say a 6. We agree?
6.
I think that's the first time we've all agreed on a number in a long, long time. Yeah. It's not a harmful movie. Go ahead and remake it, because I don't consider this a classic by any means.
It is. I mean, it's an 80s classic.
It's been remade in other forms. I don't think they necessarily have to remake it.
It's not a movie you say, don't touch that movie.
Yeah, it's not what I was dying for. Yeah.
E.T., don't touch E.T., don't touch Die Hard.
Mark
right?
says they should touch E.T.
I think they're going to.
I hope you appreciate this. Let us know what you guys think. Have you seen Short Circuit in a while? What did you think of it? Do you even remember it exists? Because it was quite a while ago, and it's not really on much streaming services or anything like that right now.
I think it just came out on Roku channel.
Yeah, but it was a hit back then. It was a hit.
It did well. I remember seeing it in theaters, so yeah. But would I sit down and watch it again right now? Not really.
Well, we just did.
Yeah, but for the review, because they'll be making. But in all honesty, if you were scrolling through the thing, would you have said,
No, it's
hey,
probably not
I'm gonna watch
something
that
I'd
right
stop
now?
on. Yeah.
No. All right, not a glowing review, so I guess we're okay with them remaking it. Who knows? Could become a real classic if they do it properly.
Or they'll ruin what was a mediocre movie in the first place.
Yeah, he runs for president. Or something like that. All right, well, let us know what you guys think. And in the meantime, why not check out some other content down here below. And until next time, that's what was missing. We were missing Rudolph. And, oh, what's his name?
I don't know. Opie?
Dentist.
Let's go with Opie.
I know he's the dentist. Darn it. Tell us in the comments down below what the name of the elf is from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because I know you guys know it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And until next time, we'll see you on the channel.